People keep talking about beating the algorithm, and people keep talking about AI like it's either going to save humanity or destroy it. But the more I sit with both of these conversations, the more I realize they're not actually just conversations about technology. They're conversations about how humans respond to systems we don't fully understand. Because when people don't understand something fully, they usually do one of two things. Either give it too much power, or they become afraid of it. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Let's start with the algorithm. Because people talk about the algorithm like it's a mysterious force that's controlling everything. Like it's something you can defeat, something you can outsmart. But the algorithm is not a person. It doesn't have intention. It doesn't wake up and decide who deserves success. It's a system, and systems respond to inputs. They respond to behavior. What people click, what people watch, what keeps their attention, and what they ignore. And because people are constantly changing, the algorithm is constantly changing too. So the idea that you can beat the algorithm is already based on a misunderstanding, because you cannot beat something that's constantly adapting. But I understand why people want to believe that they can, because uncertainty is uncomfortable, especially when you're creating something. You put your voice, your ideas, your creativity, and your time out into the world, and then you wait. Will anyone see it? Will anyone care? Did I do something wrong? Should I change my content? Should I change myself? And that uncertainty creates a very human desire. I just need to know the formula. I just need the secret. I just need someone to tell me what works. And that's where the psychology gets interesting. Because humans are wired to look for patterns. Patterns help us feel safe. They help us feel like we have control. But sometimes that desire for control makes us believe that something exists that really doesn't. And that's where I think the beat the algorithm conversation becomes complicated, because I don't think everyone cheating strategies is intentionally misleading people. A lot of people are genuinely trying to help. They're trying to understand a confusing system. They're trying to help creators get noticed. But the problem comes when we start thinking strategy can replace authenticity, because then we stop creating from our own identity and we start creating from reaction. What will perform? What will get pushed? What will people click? And slowly, we stop asking, what do I actually want to say? And that same pattern is showing up in conversations around AI, because people are reacting to AI in a very similar way. Some people, they believe it's going to replace everything. Some people think it's going to solve everything. And I think both extremes come from the same place, a lack of understanding mixed with fear. Because the truth is, you have already been using AI. Search engines deciding what information you see, platforms curating your feeds, apps predicting your preferences, maps rerouting your life, your phone recognizing your face. AI hasn't just suddenly appeared. People just suddenly became aware of it in a different way. And now that AI can communicate back with us, people feel like it's more personal. And I think that's where the fear comes from. Not just the technology itself, but what people think it means. Because humans have always been afraid of things that they don't understand. When we don't understand something, our minds try and fill in the gaps. Sometimes we fill those gaps with curiosity, and sometimes we fill them with fear. But fear is not the same thing as understanding. And that's why I think we need a more balanced conversation. I'm not pro-AI. I'm not anti-AI. I'm pro-understanding because, well, AI is a tool. And like any tool, it all depends on how you use it. A camera can capture a beautiful moment, or it can be used to deceive. A computer can create something incredible, or it can be used irresponsibly. A paintbrush can create art, but the paintbrush is not the artist. The human holding it is. And that's how I see AI. A tool to organize ideas, a tool to brainstorm, a tool to help with things. But it does not replace my intuition. It does not replace my lived experience. It does not replace my creativity. Because creativity has never just been about the final product. Creativity comes from perspective, from emotion, from memory, from your experiences, from the things that shaped you. AI can replicate patterns. AI can replicate formulas, but it cannot replace being you. And I think that's the part we need to talk about. Because when people say AI is cheating, I think sometimes they're actually talking about something deeper. They're afraid of people using tools without integrity. And that's a valid concern. Because using a tool to amplify your ideas is very different from using a tool to fake expertise, mislead people, or avoid developing your own skills. The problem isn't the tool. It's the tool behind the tool. Yeah, I said that. Really, the problem is the intention behind the tool. And that applies to everything. The algorithm, AI, social media, any system we interact with. The danger is not that systems exist. The danger is when we stop thinking for ourselves, when we hand over our judgment, when we allow a system to decide our value, our creativity, and our worth. Because you don't beat systems by being afraid of them. You understand them. You learn how they work. You use them intentionally, and you stay connected to yourself while doing it. So maybe the bigger question isn't, can we beat the algorithm? Or, will AI replace us? Maybe the deeper question is, are we using these tools to enhance our humanity, or are we using them to avoid developing it? Because technology will continue changing. Systems will continue evolving, but your voice, your perspective, your lived experience, and your ability to think critically, those are things no system can take from you. So I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think people are really afraid of AI and technology itself? Or do you think they're afraid of what these tools reveal about us, our creativity, and our relationship with control? Let me know in the comments. This is the Introverted Coach, guiding you home. I love you all. Stay golden, stay gentle, stay true, but most importantly, stay you.